Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show on this Sunday the 15th of March, 2020. Listen, this is a very important show. I want to talk about what they need to do. You know, they're so focusing on testing now. They're always behind the curve. The testing, you need to do the testing like 3 weeks ago. That's when you need to get everybody tested. Now they're focusing on testing. It's already spread everywhere. You know, it's already seeded itself. Testing is like, you can say, well, yeah, you got it, but I mean, what good does that really help that much now at this point? Because it's everywhere now at this point. This is a disease that moves so fast, it's always ahead of them. And they always catch up 2 weeks after the fact or 3 weeks after the fact. They start to catch up to what they should have been doing in previous 2 or 3 weeks. I'll tell you what they need to do now, and they need to do it fast. Of course, they'll probably do it in a few weeks, but they'll be behind the curve again. And if they're listening to what I'm saying on my show, they could get back up ahead of the curve a little bit. They need to go into production. They need to declare war on this thing with their military. That's what they need to do. And they need to try to exclude the military from catching this thing. Need to do their contact tracing, their testing and everything on the military basis. The military is what they need for support of the country at this point. They need to declare war on this thing. And the military needs to go into rapid production to make factories. There's all kinds of abandoned warehouses across the country. There's all kinds of abandoned shopping malls everywhere in North America here in Canada and in the United States. The military needs to go into production, set up a quick factory in maybe these old warehouses or whatever, or even on the military basis. They need to go into massive production of MREs, ready-to-eat meals. These small meals that the military uses when they go to war and stuff. You know, these little meals, little packet meals, you zip it open, you know, and it's got what you need for a day's food in there. They need to go into massive production for our cities of these meals. They need to go into massive production very quickly of a very simple water filtration unit that people can use at home. That would just sit on your kitchen counter, and it would be filled with possibly layers of charcoal and sand. It would just basically be a tube, and it would work on gravity feed. You pour the water in the top, put your coffee cup in at the bottom, and the water would trickle into your coffee cup, and it would be filtered by charcoal. And you go into production of those. They need to go into distribution. The military could set up distribution centers in every city of, say, more than 100,000 people, or approaching 100,000 people. Set up a distribution center. It could just be a small tent set up in the city where people can go, and the military could deliver in the nighttime, deliver the MREs, and the people could come, and the other people that work on, people who maybe from the Salvation Army or whatever, could then distribute the MREs to the people in the city if they don't have food to eat. You know, and the thing is also these water filtration units would be limited to one per family. You'd have to sign for them, you know, and you'd have to distribute them very carefully to one per family, and maybe have some sort of a computer registry so that they'd know what families had the water filtration system. So if a family tried to get more than one, the computer would tell the people, hey, you know, this family's already registered and already got one, you know. because they're a little bit more difficult to make, these water filtration units. And distribute the MREs to anybody who comes, but there'd be a limit to like maybe 1 or 2, and they'd have to stand in line to get them, And this is going to be of vital importance in our cities. The military needs to try to exclude themselves from this disease, from catching this disease, by isolating the military from the civilian population. So the military stays well, healthy, and strong. A second duty that the military needs to do during this time of need is the infrastructure of the power grid and the telecommunications grid. The military needs to work hand in hand with the companies, with the power companies and the telecommunications companies. The military needs to work hand in hand with them to support them. So what I'm saying is if certain members within, say, the power company, say they get sick with the virus and they go home and they can't, and there's a power outage, the military would come and they would use the power company as advisors of how to fix and repair the damage for the power company. In other words, the military support the infrastructure that keeps the power going and telecommunications. Military support. Act as a background support for these companies, these telecommunications companies and power supply companies, the power companies, the military. And this is all part of their effort. It's an internal war. It's a war against the virus and the effective damage that the virus could do. We do not want the world slipping into chaos. And we need the military support to keep the world from slipping into chaos, because the chaos can potentially, if it goes unchecked, can cause more damage than the virus itself. I've done shows on this for quite a long time now, and I have been saying that this virus is going to spread through the population and burn itself out and disappear for a long time now. Now they've been saying, oh, it's going to... But see, the experts in things are thinking in old terms like a virus that moves slowly through and takes like 2 or 3 years, like the Spanish flu. This thing is not like the Spanish flu. This is a totally different virus. This virus moves like a gas. It goes so quick through the population. And it's proving impossible to stop. The Chinese did stop it, but they kept everyone inside their homes, and they wouldn't let anybody leave their homes, and they broke the chain of transmission. They brought it down to under 1. The R0 value, they brought it down to under 1 by keeping everybody inside their house so people weren't able to transmit it. But I don't see it being possible to do that in our country, because we have certain freedoms. So we're going to have to take a different approach. We're going to have to try to mitigate the damage that it does to our society. And the last thing we want is starving people in the city, people who didn't prepare. I mean, you can come on here all you want. You can tell them to put away a 3 months food supply. But people aren't used to that. People have grown up for the last 60, 80 years. People have been used to the grocery stores always being fully stocked with food, and the restaurants always being open. And they don't stock food away. It's not in their psyche to do so. They've never had to stock food away. They've never had to live like our ancestors had to live. They've always had a soft, cushy, easy existence. Suddenly, the grocery stores are all empty of food. The restaurants are all empty of food. These people, their fridge is empty. That's the way they roll. And an awful lot of people are like that, especially in the big cities. They just buy food fresh as they need it. They're going to get caught in this situation where they don't have any food. Now, they don't even have a day's worth of food. And the grocery stores are now closed or empty. You have massive amounts of people that are going to be in this situation. This is why the military needs to go into, right now they need to, because if they wait, they're going to get caught behind the curve again, just like the testing kits for this disease. They get caught behind the curve. That was 3 weeks ago. They should have been testing like crazy. Now they need to start getting on to producing these MREs for the cities. They need to they need to make them now because they're going to need them in a couple weeks from now. If they wait a couple weeks from now, then these people are not going to have any food to eat. It's as simple as that. These people in the cities are not going to have any food to eat. And people start to go crazy. They will start to if you're gonna keep these people inside their homes, and you're gonna keep these people from going crazy, you know what I mean by that? I mean they would be in the streets or whatever. You don't want that. You want them inside their homes, and you want them to basically self-isolate themselves. The people, right? You need to have something that they can eat, even if it's an MRE, so that they don't go to bed with their stomach empty. You need to have distribution systems set in place. And you need to do it now because this is coming in just a few weeks. This disease moves like a gas. It's moving so fast. Just a few weeks down the line, this is coming. So you need to have these ready-to-eat meals prepared, these MREs, prepared ahead of time for the masses in the cities so that they can, and these people are unprepared in the city. There's absolutely, and if you get a big city like here in Canada, one of our biggest cities is Toronto, you can just imagine how many people are in Toronto right now that don't store any food away at home for themselves. They just eat daily. A lot of them just eat at a restaurant every single day, and they got nothing at home. Nothing in their fridge. No bottled water, no food, no ham sandwiches, nothing. They're going to need these MREs. And so you might as well start now producing them. Produce, say, in the millions. Should produce probably at least 1 million a day here in Canada. In the United States, probably at least 10 times that. 10 million MREs a day. So you need to work now to set up temporary factories. The military can set up a factory to produce MREs in a matter of a day or two. They can set up a temporary factory and production line. Because basically all it is just a meal. You know, okay, there's packaging. And the packaging takes some forethought and stuff. But, I mean, they're already produced these for themselves so that they could just increase and ramp up production. Ramp up production, I should say. Ramp it up massively. And also the infrastructure. You need to support infrastructure. Use the military to support infrastructure. Keep the infrastructure. It's very important to keep the lines of communication. Telecommunications have to stay open at all costs. And so does the power grid. If you want to keep the people, if you keep those 3 things going, if you keep the people fed, even if it's not a lot, even if all they got is an MRE to eat, and they got power and they've got their telecommunications, the people will be more or less be able to manage their way through this. But if those 3 things are not covered, those 3 bases are not covered, if the people don't have any power, if they don't have any communications, and if they don't have any food, you're going to have a much larger situation develop surrounding this virus that could escalate out of control. And that would have the potential to be worse than the virus. So all this needs to be done ahead of time, not like they've been doing. They haven't been proactive. If you see what I mean. And especially in the cities. An awful lot of people that live in the country, the majority of the people that live in the country have some food in their house. Generally they have a pantry. They have some canned food and stuff like that. People live in the country because they're not so close to the store. People that live in the city dwellers, and there's massive populations in the city, they don't keep any food on hand. And there's massive amounts of them that don't keep any food on hand. This is going to prove to be a huge, huge problem coming up very, very, very soon. And another thing about this whole thing, this virus, what I'm expecting, and by the way, everyone, this show is my opinion only, but I'm expressing my ideas for mitigating the damage that's going to be caused by this virus, and also trying to keep a certain amount of control and normalcy in everyone's lives. Because this is not going to last long. This thing is, it really, to be honest, reminds me of a tornado. It comes out of nowhere, smashes everything, and then goes back up into the cloud again, and the sun comes out 5 minutes later. That's what this virus is like. You know? It's moving extremely fast. I've been thinking all along, doing the math, working it out on math, you know, I've been thinking that it's all going to be just about finishing up and leaving by this fall. And on its way, gone. Heading out, like, you know. And one more thing I gotta say before I go on this show. Right now, don't wait. Right now, close all the markets. Shut them all down. It's not going to get any better than this. The only place the markets are going to go from this point forward is down. Close them. Close them all right now. Everything, even the futures. Close them. Because if you wait to close them, if you close them now, the markets are going to be nice and buoyed like they are right now. But if you wait to close them, if you wait a month to close the markets, you're going to be closing with a Dow Jones that's down around 10,000. And a bigger crisis than what we are in right now. Close all the markets right now. They're only going to go down. I'm going to do the market reports for you guys all week, but I want to tell you something. I'm only doing it as a record, a daily record of this crisis. I'm not doing them because I expect anything but them to fall. So, I mean, normally when I do the markets, I'm trying to predict what the market's going to do, whether they're going to go up or they're going to go down. There's no prediction in this now at this point. They're going to go down. All of them. Everything is going to go down like a stone. So close it. Close them now. For the sake of goodness, close them. Or we're going to have not just the flu to deal with, we're going to have a depression. Not a recession, a depression to deal with. A very severe depression. Close the markets now. Reopen them up after this is past and gone. Then we can sustain maybe just a recession. Now you leave those markets open right now, we are going to have a severe depression. Probably worse than 1929. Close them now. Close them, close them, close them. And with that, I'm going to say that this program right now is coming to a close. Remember, guys, do not listen to these guys on here who are saying that this flu's not real. This virus is not real. Continue washing your hands. Continue with your social distancing. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye bye.